What is up, all you gamers? Hope you're all doing well. Welcome back to the Respawn Recap. Probably one of the biggest weeks we have seen in gaming. Are you ready?
Didn't you say that last week?
I sure did. Let's break it down again. But I'm not lying this time. Certainly some of the biggest news out there this past week has been the signing of YouTube streamers leaving the Twitch platform, and I don't think we're done yet. At the point of us recording, nothing else has happened, but we suspect, well, it might not be over because Fwiz, the YouTube head of gaming, has said they're just getting started. DrLupo coming first to lead the Twitch platform, and the bigger story that you covered, that being Tim-the-Tatman, and I would say a larger streamer on several facets when it comes time for being a streamer, has now also jumped ship, which is, it's just crazy.
You have to I mean, there's so many speculations you can make with this, it almost hurts my brain. But with Twitch losing two of the biggest streamers, Lupo doesn't carry a ton of viewership, but he represents a lot, I would say, on Twitch with all of the stuff he does for charity. And then Tim, obviously, is one of the most consistently large streamers who draws viewership to any game he plays. And so you have to wonder, like, what on earth did Twitch offer them? I mean, YouTube offer them compared to Twitch in order to get them to switch over.
And it had to have been, I mean, when you hear Lupo talk about it, it almost sounded, dare I say, lackluster from Twitch's side, and he was offered secure for life from YouTube. Why would he not take that? These guys have so far come forward and said they're making these choices for their families. And you bring up a great point as well, because Tim has been known as the guy of that game made you, where very clearly no game has made Tim-the-Tatman, because he has continuously proved the point that he can move from game to game and retain viewership. Now the giant question is, can he actually move platforms and retain that same viewership? And who else is going to join these guys? Obviously, if Twitch is not offering a good amount of money, you're going to see others who maybe have contracts coming up make the move. And then you got Lupo. Devin Nash brought up his totaling charitable amounts of his viewership, and himself included, $10+ million. Yes, he's very well known outside of just his viewership.
And that's something that I think investors like to see, and people on the backside to see, oh, that's a platform that really cares about charity. Look at all the stuff that their streamers are raising. But you bring up a good question too about other streamers. I think people talked about Lyric, who signed at the exact same time as Tim and Lupo did. And so that's the big question. Are more and more people going to switch over? Is YouTube amping up these deals for people? Like, they're like, this is the year we're going to sign everyone that we want, and they're just offering big money. We'll have to see.
And we will also see if those numbers can somehow be leaked, because I would love to know how much these streamers are being paid to switch platforms. I think this big old story got overlooked this past week, and it's going to be a big one for the future of Halo Esports. Halo Infinite set to release this upcoming holidays, or sometime very, very close and around there. Hopefully everything that we want with it will be coming in the near future after launch. But with that, we now have HCS, the Halo Championship Series, now announcing 9 teams on launch, 3 of which we already knew. I believe it was Sentinels, Cloud9, Envy have had their rosters for around a year so far, and 6 other major organizations now joining and have been fielding their rosters slowly but surely. I mean, 9 teams on launch for Halo Infinite for the esports side, with more to come, is not what I saw coming at all.
It seems like a lot of people are really excited for it too, but like you said, it's not this mass excitement that I kind of expected. We put out a video this week and it didn't get nearly as many views as I would have thought for something like this, but I think it's huge because in the release, if you looked at it, which I know you did, but if you guys looked at it, they talked a lot about wanting to build this ecosystem for a Halo in esports that's sustainable. And I thought that was amazing to see a company so dedicated to, hey, these 9 teams, we're going to start with them and we want them to be successful because they want to be in Halo for the long haul, which is great to hear.
And you have some of your top orgs in the entire world. Forgive me if I don't know the full remaining 6 that I left out a bit between the initial 3 that already had rosters, but you have your FaZe, your G2, Fnatic, E-United, I want to say Space Station, and I'm missing Navi. Not as Finseer. So I mean, you have one of your top CIS organizations in the world as well. And is that only I said G2. Haha! Yeah. But of course, with the 3 that we initially mentioned being Cloud9, Envy, and Sentinels, I mean, that's 9 stellar teams. You don't have 100 Thieves, you don't have TSM or Liquid or a few others, or maybe an OpTic, but still, I mean, that's a heck of a list to dedicate to. They're going to field rosters.
Yeah, and only, I think United was the only other one who announced their roster with this announcement, so we haven't seen anyone else say anything, which will be interesting to see who all gets signed.
Ninja.
If we see, I know that's the big thing, which there's no shot that he signed, so it'll work for that. Although people are like, Cloud9 Ninja coming back, who knows? But again, we'll have to see how it plays out. I would assume 100 Thieves and people were interested. They said they fielded a lot of offers and that people are still going to slowly get in over time and that they'll branch into other regions and stuff. So I imagine we'll eventually see those other big names.
Yeah,
involved.
and you have teams very lastly like 100 Thieves and others who have been very patient with Valorant or even coming back to Call of Duty. They were super patient. Now that was with the franchise fee, but obviously they can afford to wait this one out, see what happens, see what the future of Halo Infinite and Halo Esports is set to be. And speaking of big transfers out there, maybe some big acquirings and movements in the esports space, I'm sure you guys heard about this one, and man, we're going to be talking about this until it finally does happen. That being a potential merger yet again for OpTic Gaming. This time around, set to be acquired, brought to us by Esports and CDL Intel and Jacob Wolf, is they're set to be acquired by Envy or Dallas Empire, in which they would bring over the OpTic brand, kill off the Dallas Empire, and that Chicago spot they formerly were in with NRG may be set to be sold completely.
You're killing all of Empire? Oh
We're
my goodness.
Just one at a time.
I think one of the funniest things I saw out of all this is fans who have to keep buying new merch, because if you think about it, we had OG OpTic, then we go to Immortals OpTic, then we go to the Huntsman, and now we have Empire in OpTic Chicago, and now we'll have Dallas OpTic maybe, but the whole situation is just crazy. The fact that OpTic keeps moving, that the brand of OpTic is so valuable that even, Hastro might be willing to replace Empire with OpTic is kind of mind-blowing.
It's so valuable, and then you read into the details, and it does make you ask some questions, though, where Hecz apparently was given the option to potentially try and buy himself out of that situation with funding or investors, and failed to actually find those opportunities. It makes you wonder if that's with OpTic Gaming as a brand or Call of Duty as a league, and what those issues are. I'm sure we're going to hear more on that side from Andy Miller and maybe NRG in the future, because you got to imagine, yeah, this situation probably sucks for OpTic fans and OpTic in general, but it also probably sucks for NRG and not something they expected or wanted to happen when they first reached out to a hand to help Hector. And like you said, if you're going to have a timeline of gear out there, you're going to be following the entire instance of OGLA to Huntsman to now what is going to be Dallas OpTic or OpTic Dallas, whatever it might be. There's got to be more details that are going to be talked about this, because OpTic has changed hands over the past few years more than any other brand. And again, it is one of the more popular brands in Call of Duty, but how does this differ if they become a part of Envy from them becoming a part of NRG? I think there's a lot of questions yet to be answered. What do you guys think about it? OpTic merger is now underway. A former OpTic guy making some big improvements and some big accomplishments this past week is someone like Nadeshot. When it comes time for the LCS title, the LCS championship for North American League of Legends, well, a lot of people did not expect 100 Thieves to be in this situation. I would say after an interesting season, certainly did very well after picking up someone like Abadaga and paying the $1 million price, which you initially covered, and a team that is often referred to as the Hoodie organization or the apparel company. Well, 100 Thieves have now made a tremendous comeback as they swept Team Liquid in dominant fashion to take their first ever League of Legends championship for the LCS this past weekend.
100 Thieves rule the LCS!
And just so people don't get mad at us, Reaper, the new coach, also huge pickup for them, which a lot of people are crediting a lot of the success to. Man, I can't talk today, I'm sorry. But it is huge for them because, like you said, we saw Hastro obviously bring up Hoodie org, which has haunted him to this day and just rules the internet. Anytime 100 Thieves does anything, it's just a Hoodie org. It's just an apparel org. They're not that good. What do you expect? And so it's awesome, and I talked about this a lot. It's so cool to see Nadeshot so excited and happy about something that they have obviously focused a lot on as a company. They want to be successful in League. They want to go to Worlds every year. They want to win Worlds eventually. And personally, I'm excited for a good old 100T Worlds jersey.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably going to be pretty snazzy, as they usually all are, and going to try and get our hands on one if it's even freaking possible at this point. Usually when you drop Gucci bags, you're pretty limited in all of your drops entirely. But yeah, such a huge accomplishment for, ironically so, back when E3 was going on, we had that Ven Esports rant between Nadeshot and Hector Rodriguez, ironically so. And if you guys haven't seen it, he literally talks about, very, very passionately about how TSM and Cloud9 and Liquid, they have money, and it's very, very tough to enter this league.
We've only been around for 4 years.
Yeah.
We're not even we're 3 years in 4 months.
Yeah.
And people are talking about, yo, why have you won a championship? You know how hard it is to win in League of Legends when I got these teams spending $8 million on a roster in a year?
Yeah.
Bro, they can't, and that's that's not even including buyouts. I'm like, yo, what do you want from me?
Yeah.
What do you want? Like, truly, what do you want?
Yeah.
So to see 100 Thieves rise the ranks, or rise through the ranks.
Right.
Wow, we both sucked this fast has been tremendous, because you look at all the other teams that have not been able to do it. And so for 100 Thieves to really come in and do it, I hope they can actually expand this into other esports as well. And we hope to continue to see 100 Thieves esports success. We wanted to save this story for last because it's speculative, but I think I'm going to be honest with you, Hunter. I think it's going to happen. I think a lot of people out there have maybe seen this one coming, but it's going to be a gigantic signing for Nickmercs. Whether it's staying with Twitch or going to YouTube is now the question in the air. It was actually a recent stream a few days back. Thanks to all of you people who follow us and send us these clips that we really cannot catch. Nickmercs goes out and says that he has signed the biggest deal of his entire life.
I signed the biggest deal of my life, you know, the biggest deal by far. Like the kind of deal that, you know, it's not about you anymore. It's your family and your friends and shit, you know. So, I mean, we've been making moves, man. Under Armour as well. You know, we got the barbecue coming up, which is, you know, a big thing. We're making moves, man. It's been a really busy, good year, you know.
And you got to imagine Nickmercs, when he comes to the negotiation table and probably knows his buddies are dipping, he's got a lot of leverage to stay or to go.
So let me ask before I get into it. You said that you think it's going to happen, but then you mentioned Twitch and YouTube.
I think he's going to YouTube.
You think he's going to YouTube? Okay. Then, of course, I'm going to play the other side. He could go to YouTube or stay at Twitch, and I think he's going to make more money than anyone on
One
either
of us is
deal.
going to be right.
Yeah, exactly. Should we make a bet on it? I don't know. Maybe off camera we will. But it's just crazy to me that, like we said, YouTube is making these massive moves, and we saw Nickmercs calling it a beefer, is what he called it, of a deal. It's the biggest deal that he's ever signed, which when he's done stuff with Sports Illustrated, Under Armour, the list goes on and
Barstool
on.
Sportsbook.
Yeah, like he has made massive deals already. So for him to say this is something that's going to set up my family for life, it's a family decision. We want to be parents. It's like, man, what on earth is going on?
Nick, just let me know now. Should I continue my sub or not? Are you predicting? Man, you guys want me to tell you, huh? I can't do it. I can't tell you. I want to be able to tell you, but I can't.
He is making $1 million deals. When he goes to a table, he is making millions of dollars. And this is probably, like you said, I mean, it's his biggest platform.
Yeah.
It's him live streaming. It's what Twitch really needs from him. It's what YouTube really wants from him. He says it's the biggest deal. I imagine you are correct in saying that of the streamers thus far, and maybe for quite some time of this year and what could be the prolonged future, he is going to be signing one of, if not the single biggest deal. I hope numbers are going to be put out there. Probably not going to be, but what do you guys think about Nickmercs? Is he staying with Twitch or going to YouTube? As per usual, hope you guys all enjoy the Respawn recap. We'll catch you back here same time, same day next week. If we did miss anything, make sure to leave a comment down below and we'll be sure to talk about it. You ready to go?
We do love you. We will miss you. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye.